Hello my friends, welcome to lesson 4 in the Violin for Beginners course. I'm Henriette. In this lesson we're going to first revise briefly the things that we've learned before, and we're going to be using your book, and we're going to use the book on page 14, so have that ready. And I would like you to make a habit of, whenever you start a new piece, pick up the bow and go over the bow hold like we did before. So I'm starting with this little ring. I'm opening a little gap between my thumb and my middle finger. Then I place the bow, remember, on that wooden part of the bow there. Drop all your fingers down one by one so that you've got a finger width space between your index finger and your middle finger, and also a finger width space between your ring finger and your pinky. And then you place your pinky on the side edge. Now let's first begin by practicing some bow exercises, and we're doing this waving exercise, which makes your wrist really nice and flexible. See if you can soften that bow hand, so not squeeze too hard, and you'll hopefully find that over time you will start to hold your bow with less and less squeezing it. And then once you've done your waves and you really feel that suppleness in your wrist, do some big windscreen wipers and feel that shift in balance if you can. And if you didn't feel it in our last lesson, maybe today you'll feel it a little bit more, so you feel that slight weight of the bow onto your index finger when you move the bow to your right. And then as you tip it over to the other side, you may start to feel how your pinky is carrying all the weight of the length of that bow, so your bow is pivoting on your thumb. We've talked about this before. So go really slowly so that you start to feel those differences in balance of your bow on your fingers. Lovely job. Now let's hold the bow upright and let's crawl up to the top. Take your time to do that. And then once you've reached the point of your bow, very gently move yourself back, step by step. I mean, this might take quite a while. And if I go too quickly, just pause the video and then restart it, because for some people this is extraordinarily challenging. And I'm well aware of that, and it's perfectly fine. Once you get back to the heel of the bow, see if you can find that nice bow hold. So perhaps this time, without finding that ring first, you just arrive here from your crawling exercise. See if you can start to find that bow hold now. There we are. So just check that pinky that it's on the side edge. Fantastic. Now let's get your violin and let's place it on your shoulder. So start it at the front and then slide it to the side until you feel that that corner of your jaw is over the chin rest. Your left hand can hold the violin here. Now play some long bows as we've done before. We're starting on the G string, and we play the G string 4 times. Then we go on to the D string, and we'll play the D string 4 times, and then we go on to the A and then on to the E string. So we play each of the strings 4 times. Start at the heel of the bow. When you're ready, and adjust your elbow level, so take a short break so that you can get your level ready for the D string. Here we go, and hold on a moment, adjust your elbow levels for the A string. Can you see my right elbow just drops down gently? and hold it here again. Drop your elbow down completely so that your bow moves to the E string. And here we go. Let's leave your bow on the string because in a moment we're going to continue to bow. This time we're going to go from the E string back to the G string, still playing 4 times every string. But now I'd like you to stretch that bow arm forwards and really focus on the straight bows. Are you ready? And pause here. Adjust your elbow level so your right elbow comes up a little bit. Off you go. And hold it a moment while you adjust your elbow level to go to the D string. Straighten your bow arm, remember. Here we go, and hold it here. One final time. Raise your elbow, but make sure you leave your shoulder down. Straight bows now, here we go, and well done. Give your bow arm and your left arm a well-deserved rest. That was really, really beautiful playing. Now, so far in this course, we have played long bows, and it is always a good way to start, in my opinion, to try and lengthen your bow strokes, and that's what you've been doing. But violin playing isn't really like that. We also sometimes play shorter bows, and that's what we're learning next. Now, first of all, we need to find out where the middle of the bow is, and it might be helpful to put a little marker in the middle of your bow, or roughly where the middle of your bow is. And you could use a pencil line, which I'm going to be doing. So very lightly, I'm just writing a little line on my bow, and you'll find that this will very quickly rub off. Others might prefer a sticker. If you've got a small sticker, stick it in the middle of your bow, because we want to visualize where the middle of our bow is. Once you've got that, let's pick up your violin and your bow again. So let's now play the exact same exercise that we did earlier. So 4 times every string, starting on the G string, going to the E string. And now play up to your marker in the middle of the bow. So I'm going to get ready at the heel of the bow, so my elbow level is ready for the G string as well. See if you can find where that little marker is in the middle of your bow. Ready? And hold it here whilst you adjust your elbow levels. Make sure also that your right shoulder is down. And here we play on the D string, and okay, let's adjust your elbow level to go to the A string. Up to your marker and back, here we go, and hold it a moment to adjust your elbow level. Okay, let's go back towards the G string now. We're playing the E first, and the A string, D string now, and raise your elbow for the G string. Beautifully done, really good. So suddenly your bowing is getting a lot more sophisticated. Now at this stage we're still using the marker to visualize where the middle of the bow is. Eventually you will learn to feel where the middle of your bow is, but what you want to establish at this stage is a very clear difference between using the whole bow and using the half bow, and when you do that you're making outstanding progress. Well done. Now let's have a look in your book now. So I'm assuming that you don't know anything about music, so I will just explain to you how music works. Basically that's what it is. So music is written on a set of 5 lines. In England that is called the stave. In America it's called the staff. Now violin music is written with a treble clef at the start, which is this thing. A treble clef, and it indicates where the note G is located, and the note G is located right here. Now at the moment we don't need to know much about this. You can just see that it swirls around that note G. So a treble clef is also sometimes called a G clef. Now the open strings that we've learned so far look like this. The G is a very deep sounding note. It hangs way down below the stave. And the G needs, because it hangs down below the stave, which we need some what are called ledger lines. And the ledger lines are just an extension of those 5 lines. So I'm thinking, I'm writing an extra line here, I'm writing an extra line here, and we could have quite a few more. So that is our G string. Now a little bit higher is our D string, and the D string hangs just off the bottom line, as you can see. Now if you look at a music note, it consists of a circle and a stem. The stem can go up or down, as you can see from this example. And we don't really look at the stem to work out which note it is. We only really need to look at that circle. Okay, so ignore the stems for now, just look at the circles and you'll find where your note is. So this is our D string. If you play an open D string, it looks like that in music. A little bit higher, so in the middle, so around the middle of the stave, is what we call our A string. And right here is our E string. And this is what I want you to learn, where the level of the open strings are. You won't immediately need all of these in your book. Now that you can play on all your 4 strings, you might as well learn what these strings look like in music. Now music consists of 2 main elements: pitch, which is what we've just seen on our board. Where are the notes and how high do they sound? Which string do I need to play? But also the rhythm of the notes. Now when we started playing a couple of lessons ago, we started with long bows. And long bows, for now, I'm going to say for now because this is all going to be much more sophisticated as we go along. But for now, I'm going to write an example on a D string. And when we play long notes, they look like this. Okay, so what can we see here? First of all, we can see that they are Ds because they hang off the bottom line. And we can see that they're long bows because they are white notes. The circles aren't filled in, if you like. Now each of these notes is 2 counts long. You may notice in your music that there is this time signature that says 4/4 time. What does that actually mean? The top number means there are 4 counts in each bar, in each measure. So these notes are called half notes, and they are 2 counts each. And you'll find them in your book on page 14 as well. So altogether in one measure there are 4 counts. Each half note is 2 counts each. So we count, and I'll write this underneath here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you've got a bar line here which finishes the measure, and I could have another new measure which has A's in it, for instance. So I'm having A, and another bar line, which means you start counting again. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the D's. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and you play these notes on the A string. Now these are our long bows that we've practiced. Today we have learned shorter bows, and I'll write these here. So my music starts with a treble clef again. I'm still playing with 4 counts in one bar. And now we're playing short bows. So these are our new ones that we've learned today, and they call them in the book Mississippi, which is 4 syllables. So we could play 4 short bows. Now when you look in your book and you look at exercise 1, which we're going to play next, you can see the exact same thing here. Now what can we tell from these notes? First of all, we can tell that they're played on the D string, because that little ball is hanging down below the bottom line. So we can see that we have got 4 Ds, and these are called quarter note. For our key signature we have 4 counts to a bar. Each note that we count is a quarter note, which is one of those, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go ahead now and play exercise 1 in your book, and I'll play you this first. So what we can see is we're on the D string. So I'm placing my bow right here at the heel of the bow, that's where we're starting. And we're going to play 4 short Ds. 1, to my marker, 2, 3, 4. And now you can see a blank measure. So there isn't anything apart from that little flat line, which indicates 4 counts rest. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. We're having a silence, and then we're playing the 4 Ds again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we come across another whole measure of silence. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're still counting to 4 because our time signature said there are 4 counts in each bar, you see. Now at the end of this line you can see the double dots, which mean repeat this section. So you're just going to go back to the beginning and play that bit again. And this time when we play it, you may have noticed these little things. These two here, the down bow and the up bow, which we've come across. So you're just playing down and up and down and up. And these are just markings in violin music that you will come across all the time. So you're learning all the time as well, aren't you? You're getting better and knowing more about music. Let's play that repeat now, shall we? So I'm here on the D string still. Are you ready to play with me? Here we go. And 2, 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then you take your bow away. You remember that in one of the earlier lessons we may have said at the start of a piece of music you put your bow down on the string and you don't really take it off until you come across what's called the double bar line, which is the thin black line and the fat black line that you can see at the end of this piece. And that means your piece is now finished. So I can add that to my whiteboard as well. The final bar line signs a thin line followed by a thick line, the end of your piece. Now, these two dots, as you've come across as well, means go back to the start and play it again from here. So I'm hoping that music looks slightly less like abracadabra to you now. Take a look at exercise 2 now, and that is this one here. That is the exact same exercise as I've just explained to you, except the difference is that you're now playing it on the A string. You can see that dot here, your note has gone up along the stave and it's now where the A string is. So this is also 4 counts to a bar, but on A and on A, and you've got to repeat at the end. When we play the D and the A here, you've got this little asterisk marking every bar line, every end of the measure. Can you see that? Because there is something special going on here, because you go from the D string to the A string, you need to take a moment to adjust your elbow levels. Take your time to go from the D string level to the A string level. So it's absolutely fine if you take a moment to change strings on each of the bar lines. Now let's have a look at exercise 4 now. And this time you've got your half notes. So you play with long bows and you play long, long, then you've got a bar rest, long, long, you've got a bar rest. You've got enough time here to change strings because you've got 4 counts rest, you've got 4 counts to adjust your elbow levels. So shall we now play exercise 4? So let's get ready with your bow on the D string, because that's where we're playing. And we're playing long bows. So we're going to take 2 counts now to get from one end of the bow to another. I'll count us in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it here. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2. Change your elbow levels now, because the next bar is on the A string. Ready? And A, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Long. Because now you want to put your elbow up and you go to the D string. And then you have a repeat, so you can repeat all of this again. Well done, you've played this whole page, and I'm hoping that I've made everything clear to you. Now there may well be lots of questions, and you'll find that as we play the next lesson things will become clearer to you as you go along. So super progress today. Can I suggest that when you practice every day, so you get used to all these things, and you will have noticed that playing the violin is multitasking. You've got to count, you've got to know your notes, you've got to bow straight, you've got to work on your elbow level. I haven't even mentioned the bow hold on the violin hold, you see, in that long list of things. So take things step by step, and don't worry if you can't get it all right in your first playing. You can play it again, and maybe the second time round you'll find it easier to hit 2 of your targets, 2 of the things that you wanted to try and do. So add things as you progress, and I'm hoping that you're going to really enjoy your practice in these next couple of days. So thank you very much for watching right through to the end today, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Goodbye.